Hi. So, there's something that I wanted to talk about. Heads up, we will be talking about depression, self-harm, and some other things in this video. So, if that's not your forte, I recommend clicking off. For everyone else, hi. My name's Quill. I've been doing YouTube for about a year and a half now. It's had its ups and downs. It's had its battles. But the main thing I've wanted to talk about recently is how I've randomly vanished. And I know that's not exactly uncommon for a lot of people, is they'll take like a few days off or so. But I want to acknowledge that I will vanish sometimes for a week or two. And just no updates, no nothing. And then I'll come back and, you know, I feel like it's kind of common with smaller channels, but I've wanted to acknowledge what is going on. And so you are all aware. Let's start from the beginning, shall we? When I was younger, I wanted to do nothing more but to make people laugh. And the first realization that I could do this was actually stand-up. But I didn't feel like I could do stand-up very well, simply put, I get huge stage fright. Like, massively, to the point where I've had panic attacks that have affected me for days from stage fright. And then I realized that there were people on YouTube growing communities, talking to people, making them laugh, and all in all just enjoying their time. And I looked at it and went, it's kind of like a TV show. I could do something like that because I don't need a high budget and I don't need to do auditions and I won't have panic attacks. And so ever since that day, that's what I set my mind to, was doing YouTube. In junior high, or middle school, I went far enough to actually even start a gaming club, which, funny enough, I remember I remember thinking people would make fun of me for it, but I actually got friends to join in this club. And that's when I started talking about doing YouTube with a lot of my friends at the time. I talked about ideas we could do, how to do it, how to set it up. During that time, I actually started my first channel. I didn't upload very many videos or anything, but I did upload, I think, like 3 or 4 videos. Sadly, at the time, I was forced to delete it, so that's gone. It no longer exists. Don't bother looking for it. It's gone. And then I hit high school, and so much happened at that point in my life where I was like, I need something, you know? I need to start doing something that I enjoyed as a career or something. I started to think going to the bars in my town to do stand-up. But the problem was I wasn't of age to go into a bar, so I was like, hey, I can't do that. But one year, I finally got a computer, and I started building up ways to start my channel. I never felt so excited before in my life. I finally felt like I was doing what I was supposed to do. Something that felt right, and it was the first time in my life that something ever felt right, and I was like, this is what I'm supposed to do. And as you can tell, I've tried keeping it up as much as I could, but at the same time, I was never able to discover exactly who I was growing up or where exactly I wanted to go in life. That was not something that I could discuss in my family because I know the path that I'm going to choose was not one that they'd agree with. I'd say that the problems started acting up again around 3 months in. It was a huge mile marker for me. 3 months was a massive mile marker because it's the first time in a long time that I didn't have a job. And I talked to people about it, and I was like, hey, I won't be working. I'm going to be doing this project. 3 months in was when it really started hitting on me that I'm not making money. But the funniest part is I'd never been more happy in my life. Around the 6-month mark, I felt so excited. Something kept nagging at me every time I went to go do YouTube, every time I went to record, and I kept throwing it in the back of my head. I knew what the feeling was. I've felt it many times, and I've been in that position more than I'd like to say. That's around the time I started taking breaks, because I realized I was burning myself out, or what I thought it was burning myself out. And I realized that it wasn't burnout during that break, and life got really hard. It was no longer just, oh, this is a quick little break, this is a little bit of a burnout. This problem that I've been running from my entire life was kicking in at the worst moment, when I finally started getting a little bit, just a tiny bit of traction, and I needed that break. And every time I start getting a little bit of traction, it really kicks in. I don't know how to exactly explain it in the best way. The only way to explain it is self-sabotage. If you haven't caught on, I have severe depression issues. And it's hard for me to talk about. Because my whole life I've been denied that it's a problem. Everyone laughs because everyone has their emo phase and everything. And one of my huge jokes was I never got out of it. It's come to my attention that it's a very serious issue. I started certain activities of harm when I was about 10. I have thought about certain things for almost every day of my life. And when I discovered that this wasn't normal, I got yelled at for it and told that it wasn't actually a thing and to forget about it and move on. And I've never gotten any care or treatment. Recently, I have figured out that I need to open up to people, and I need to get, I guess, my story out there. Every now and then I've posted some things that are on the more depressed side, and it's taken me a while to cope with that. That's okay every now and then. And I get that it's really cringy and it's weird, but sometimes you need to just to get some emotions out, and I realized that I wasn't getting any of those emotions out to the world or to friends or to anyone. I needed to sit down with all of you and just talk and explain that, yes, I have issues, I'm aware, and when I vanish, it's okay. I will always come back. You don't have to worry. But just know that when I do, I just need some time to think through some things, and I will come back, and I know not everyone will be there when I get back, but I really hope you guys are. I know that it's not your guys' jobs to sit here and listen to me. Let me shout into the void for 5 seconds and just talk. I haven't been able to get a job for months. I've been sick for even longer, and I don't know what the issue is. And it's affected me mentally as much as it has physically, and I really am trying to just hold it in. I know that this probably isn't what everyone was looking for whenever you find this video. I needed to talk about it. I needed to tell someone that I'm struggling very, very much, just mentally and physically right now, and it sounds funny, but I need your guys' support. You can unsub, you can dislike the video, you don't push it, I don't care. But just for the people who are around, I want you to know that I love this channel with everything I have. I hope I make you smile, 'cause it is so hard to find happiness these days. It is so hard to know through a computer screen if I'm even helping anyone. And I just want you to know that if I have made you laugh or smile, you are the reason just that I've continued. I've had a shitty life. I've had some bad experiences growing up. I know with all of you around, even the small amount of you, I don't care that this is where I'm supposed to be. So I hope that you guys take this journey with me, and even if it goes nowhere, just know that it's been the best time of my life. For anyone who also has suffered from any of these, if you need anyone to talk to, hopefully I can help a little bit, but there's people that you can contact and reach out, and I will leave that number down in the description. You can text or call usually, but please reach out, tell people what's going on, and I hope to see you another day. Just know that there are people out there who love you and will 100% miss you if something happens. You're not alone. And if you have a dream, go for it. I'm sorry, but I had to talk about it. I have to open up more, and I want to discover who I am just as much as anyone else does, and I want you guys to come along on the journey, and that won't be possible if you don't know who I am. So thank you for listening so far, and you all have a wonderful night.